Donald Trump is getting indicted on 37 counts, and he is facing a hypothetical 536 years in prison, and some of his lawyers have quit. I am now going to catch you up on what is going on with Donald Trump. We had some of the information last week. We now have more. Trump charged with 37 counts in classified documents case, indictment says. Among other allegations, the indictment says Trump showed classified documents to other people in the summer of 2021 after leaving office. The indictment was made public a day after the grand jury charged Trump. Two of Trump's lawyers resigned from representing him in the classified documents case and in another pending federal criminal investigation into his efforts to overturn the loss in 2020. Mediaite reporting, Trump maximum sentences add up to a staggering 536 years in prison for all counts. I tell you this not to trick you into thinking Trump might end up spending this much time in prison or any time in prison at all. I still believe the most likely outcome at greater than 50% odds is that Trump will spend no time in prison. I tell you this to tell you the severity of the totality of what Donald Trump has been charged with. So I want to talk about a few different things here. I'm not going to do a deep dive legal analysis because I'm not a lawyer. And there are many lawyers who can do the deep dive legal analysis. I'm going to give you an analysis of the politics that is surrounding what is going on here. Number one, there are so many of you who have written to me and have said, David, sir, some less politely, but many of you referring to me as sir, saying, this is it, right? The Trumpists now are going to abandon Trump. And the answer is absolutely not. Luke the Bee's Knees Beasley is going to be on the ground for us tomorrow in Miami interviewing Trump supporters. And you are going to see, not only are they not abandoning Trump, they are flocking to his defense. The one remaining analysis that is valid for what we are now seeing, the defenses of Trump from the MAGA cultists, is the cult analysis. 3 books, which I recommended on my live stream over the weekend, if you want to understand what is going on with Trumpists, are 3 books by the great nonfiction author Jeff Gwynne. Jeff Gwynne wrote a book about Charles Manson, the leader of the family, who died in prison some years ago. Jeff Gwynne wrote a book about Jim Jones, the cult leader of the People's Temple. That was the murder-suicide involving the, quote, Kool-Aid that so many people have heard of. And then David Koresh of the Branch Davidians in Waco, his most recent book, is about that. It is impossible, as I recently read Waco and have previously read the other books, it is impossible to read those books and not see Trumpism in the descriptions of the cultists and the cult loyalty that we see or we saw to Koresh, Jones, and Manson. That is the most important analysis as far as what we are seeing from the Trump supporters. So then let's continue. You are going to hear defenses of Trump from cultists, but also from Republican hacks who do this for a living. You are going to hear all sorts of claims about how this isn't really that serious and there's really nothing here. And what about Hillary and what about Hunter, etc. The brazen nature of that which Trump is accused of, credibly, we see evidence in the indictment. Trump not cooperating on the classified documents, moving documents around seemingly to evade law enforcement, spending months refusing to turn documents over. We found that the surveillance room was flooded by a Mar-a-Lago employee when they drained a pool into the surveillance room, although they say that was not deliberate, but it is extraordinarily suspicious. Retention of classified documents, showing people classified documents who don't have proper security clearances. Trump has lied about every aspect of this. He said, I declassified everything telepathically or whatever, but there are recordings of Trump saying, I can't show you these documents because they're classified, meaning he knew that he didn't actually declassify them. So there are many charges under the espionage, et cetera, and we will leave it to the legal experts to give you the bottom line on that. You can make the argument, and I would defend the argument, that we have a problem in the United States with overclassification of documents. We've talked about it before. That's not an argument I'm afraid of, but we are talking about very serious stuff right here. Documents related to military capabilities, weapons capabilities, about the U.S. and other countries. If Obama had done this, they would be saying it's treason and it should be the death penalty. Do not be confused for even a moment. We don't know what Trump's motive was. We just don't know at this time. Why was he keeping these documents? One of the things we do know, based on the pictures that have been released, is that Donald Trump was keeping these documents in boxes in his bathroom. By the way, the bath is, I've told you before, money can't buy class. Trump's bathroom for a rich guy is just, it's all crazy. Okay. Every detail of this is insane, but he had documents in the bathroom. He had documents in his bedroom. It's all completely whacked. Another defense that you're hearing is that these are technical crimes, process crimes. Trump hasn't been given due process. But the very same people saying that were demanding Hillary Clinton be jailed absent any evidence of criminality, absent an indictment, absent an adjudication, a conviction, and a sentencing. They were saying just do not pass go, do not collect $200, go straight to prison. The very same people saying I'm for law and order were saying that, or said lock up Joe Biden or whatever. And you've got pictures of Trump's bathroom stuffed with boxes. We have recorded conversations. They want Hunter Biden jailed. And yet we have nothing on Hunter Biden that is even close to what this indictment reveals they have on Trump. So you're going to see those people and those very same people making these defenses might show up tomorrow to riot outside the Miami courthouse. I hope that that doesn't happen, but Trump and others have been I guess there's really no other word other than they've been inciting individuals to go to Miami tomorrow. We saw Mark Levin's delusional rant on Fox News saying how dare they, indignant, how dare they do this to Trump. And it's really important to remember that not only are these serious charges and not only do they seem to have Trump dead to rights, pictures, audio recordings, all of it. One of the other important things to think about when it comes to this situation is that this actually shows us we might have accountability in a justice system that does have two tiers. The two tiers aren't Democrats and Republicans. Republicans are now saying it's a two-tier justice system where if you're a Trump supporter, there's different rules. No, the two-tier justice system we've had in this country for a long time is everybody else, and then the wealthy and the elite who get the best, most expensive lawyers. They don't have pretrial detention, either because it's not assigned or because they can bail out or whatever. The two-tier justice system has been that. And what we are to take away from Trump getting indicted is that no one is above the law. Trump and others keep saying, if they can do this to me, they're going to do it to you. They're already doing it to the proverbial you. We know that. The question was, can even someone in a position like president be held accountable? And at least as far as the indictment goes, the answer might be yes. We're going to talk about Judge Eileen Cannon after the break, and that's going to concern us in some ways. Last thing, and I talked about this on my stream. You might be wondering, am I going to demand Trump's imprisonment for life or something? You might notice that in this story so far, I haven't said Trump should be in prison or Trump should be in prison for X, Y, or Z amount of time, because that's not due process. All I want is due process, okay? We had enough evidence to go to a grand jury. The grand jury said there is enough evidence to indict. So we've gotten an indictment. So I'm not around here saying, oh, imprison Trump for life. What I want is, now that there has been an indictment, let's adjudicate it. And depending on its adjudication, either via a plea deal or a guilty verdict rather, then we can figure out what would be appropriate sentencing. And then let's talk about a sentence. I actually support law and order. I actually support due process. I'm not going around demanding people be imprisoned because I don't like their politics. I don't like Trump's politics. But what I want is the same thing that I want for Hunter Biden, if you believe he committed crimes, for Hillary Clinton, or whatever the case may be. Later in the program, we will talk about the difference between the Trump classified documents indictment and what they wanted Hillary locked up for. And if you come with an open mind, I can only imagine you will come away realizing there is almost no comparison between the two. Make sure you're subscribed to the YouTube channel at youtube.com/The David Pakman Show. It is a massive program today, long and wide, that I can assure you. If you've been getting crushed in the markets lately, like many people have, you were probably happy to hear that Treasury yields have been surging. Right now, you can get a 5% yield on Treasury bills, which is higher than most high-yield savings accounts I've seen. And unlike a high-yield savings account, Treasury bills are a fixed rate asset. So you know what you're getting at the time of purchase, but Buying US Treasuries can be very complicated, or at least it was, because our sponsor, public.com, lets you buy Treasury bills in seconds right from your phone and put your cash to work. Keep in mind that Treasury bills are government-backed securities considered one of the safest investments around. When you buy them on Public, they are securely stored at the Bank of New York Mellon, the world's largest custodian bank and security services company. Plus, there are no minimum hold periods or settlement delays. You can access funds anytime. If you keep it invested, Public will automatically roll over your investments at maturity, so you have one thing you don't have to think about. Go to public.com/Pacman to start getting that 5% yield on your cash. The link is down below.